Hello, welcome back to our session on the MCC laws of cricket. In this session, we will be discussing Law 17, the over. Uh, this law tells us that the ball shall be delivered for the batsman to play in overs of 6 balls. Uh, in overs, all bowled alternatively, one over from this end, one over from the other end. No two overs will be bowled consecutively from the same end. Though it has been known to happen by error. Now, when does an over start? As we discussed briefly in another law, an over has started when the bowler starts his run-up to bowl a delivery, the first delivery, or if he has no run-up, in the rare case that he doesn't have a run-up, then when he starts his bowling action, that is when the over has begun. And for the first delivery of the over. Now, an over consists of 6 valid balls, is what the law says. Only valid balls will be counted towards the 6 of the over. So now let us see what are valid balls and what are the invalid ones, which will not count. A ball shall count as one of 6 only if it is delivered. One basic principle is that in the opinion of the umpire at the bowler's end, the ball has been properly delivered, is what he feels. And there are times that it might have slipped out of the hands of the bowler, and in that case the umpire is required to call dead ball and let nothing happen from that particular delivery. He will naturally, since it is not a valid ball, he will have to allow one more in order to fulfill the 6 that are to be bowled. First and foremost, has to be a properly delivered ball. Even though a batter may be dismissed or some other incident may occur without the ball having been delivered. Now, we had there can be an occasion where the non-striker is run out for backing up too early. In that case, the ball has not been delivered. Though an incident has occurred, a batsman may be dismissed. But even then, that ball will not count because it was not delivered. Now, another part of the law, 17.3.2 says that a ball which is delivered, a ball which in the opinion of the umpires is properly delivered, shall not count of the 6 balls in the over if first and foremost condition is that the striker should have an opportunity to play it. If he has had an opportunity to play the ball, it will be counted, and if he has not had an opportunity to play the ball, it will not be counted, because then we do not want the batting side to be deprived of one delivery. So the striker should have an opportunity to play the ball, that being the basic principle. If the ball is called dead before he has an opportunity to play it, that is the idea, that before the striker has had an opportunity to play it, or if it is to be called dead or considered dead before he has a chance to play it, it won't be counted as part of the over. Now, this is the general principle. First, it should be delivered, and also the striker should have had an opportunity to play the ball. But there are certain exceptions where even though the striker had an opportunity to play the ball and score of it, that ball will still not be counted as a valid ball. Now, there is a list given here, which of course includes a no ball and a wide ball. A no ball is not counted in the over. If no is called, either umpire calls a no ball, it won't be counted. The striker had an opportunity to play that ball and score it. He might have scored a 6 of that ball, in which case he gets 1 run for the penalty and 6 for the strike. Or if it is a wide, which as a matter of principle is some ball which has deprived the striker of an opportunity to score from it. So we can readily understand a no ball and a wide. But what we need also to be particular about know is under law 20.4.2.6, the striker, when he is distracted while facing a delivery, the striker has shaped up to play a ball, and there is a loud cracker bang somewhere in the stands, and he is distracted. Now he had the opportunity to play that ball. It reached him, but the umpire calls a dead ball on the basis that the striker is distracted by that action. It could be within the field or it could be out of the field, outside the field, as we will see when we come to law 20. And the umpire has called dead ball, even though the striker, and there will be no scoring opportunity of that ball, he will be given an extra ball to play. That is one thing. And then under law 20.4.2.5, the striker is not ready to take strike. If the striker is not ready to take strike and the ball reaches him, the umpire calls dead ball. The ball reaches him, but the umpire has called dead ball. Even now, he had an opportunity to strike, he stood back. Then, depending on certain conditions, that ball either will be considered as a valid ball or it will not. I'll come to that, I'll explain that a little later. This point we'll come, or shall I mention it, that the umpire has called dead ball. Now what he has to do, he has to go into the reason, why wasn't he ready, why did he not try to play the ball. If he is satisfied about the reason, he will give him an extra ball to play. This ball won't be counted. But if he is not, the umpire is not satisfied about the reason for the batter to striker to back away, then he will count that ball. I'll repeat this when we come to that point. So this is right now. Please note that if the striker is distracted, now as an exception to the general principle that he should have an opportunity to play the ball. Here, even though he has an opportunity to play the ball, it is not counted as a valid ball. Dead ball has been called. And 20.4.2.5, where he is backed off, though he had an opportunity to play the ball, the dead ball, call of dead ball has deprived him of it, and one more ball will be, which is a deviation from the basic principle. We already spoke about no ball and white ball. Now there are 4 laws where the ball is not counted even though the striker has played the ball and scored runs of it and all that. I'll describe them to you. Law 24.4, player returning without permission. That is one. The list details we will discuss when we come to that particular law. 28.2, which is fielding the ball illegally. He fields with his cap, etc. And deliberate attempt to distract the striker. Now the striker is taking and somebody has deliberately attempted to distract the striker, and deliberate distraction and deception of the or obstruction of the batter. In all of these cases, as an additional penalty for having done these unfair acts, these are four unfair acts which any student should try and remember. These are 4 unfair acts where, as a measure of additional penalty, all of these carry a fire run penalty in the normal course. Fire run penalty they call, and there are other things combined. But in addition, 1 extra ball will always be given. This ball will not be counted in the over. The batting side will get 1 more ball in all these 4 cases. That is the whole idea. So, just to reiterate, a ball will be counted only if the striker has had an opportunity to play the ball. If he has not had an opportunity to play the ball, before that the ball is called dead or it becomes dead. The ball will not be counted, but there are exceptions to this rule which says that despite the fact that the striker has received the delivery and was in a position to strike from it and play it, and had an opportunity to play the ball, these exceptions are there where despite that the ball will not be counted. We can readily understand no ball and white ball, like I said. Then calling of dead ball when the striker is distracted by some outside means or even on the field. The striker is not ready to take strike, but that is dependent on the umpire's opinion. And Then we have come across, we have got four instances which are acts of unfair play, where as an additional penalty, in addition to the normal fire and penalty and whatever, the ball will not be counted in all these four cases. Something to be remembered. This is an oddity and must be remembered, and there must be a recall. Now, any other deliveries except those which are stated shall be valid balls. Shall be valid balls and shall be counted in the over. Now, the call of over, we are instructed to, after 6 valid balls have been bowled, we are instructed that when the ball becomes dead, the umpire shall call over before leaving the wicket. So, the call of over does not make the ball dead as it is used to previously. Similarly, with the call of time, both of these calls used to render the ball dead. It is no longer so. So, please don't walk away. Call dead ball is on the way, and you say throw over and walk away, and some incident happened. Don't let that really happen. Wait a bit for the ball to become dead, and then call over and go and walk away to the strikers and umpire as it has been instructed. Otherwise, you will be creating quite a situation for yourself. Now, what happens if an umpire miscounts? It can very well happen, despite the best teamwork between the two umpires and all. It does sometimes happen that the umpire miscounts a number of deliveries. The general rule is it shall stand as counted by the umpire. If you do miscount, you give an additional ball. You cannot compensate by giving one ball less in the next over, or you are given an additional ball and you compensate by giving one ball less. You are counted only 5 and then called over. These things do happen. The law says no, what you have counted shall remain. It may be a little harsh or whatever. The other side might feel, one of the two sides might feel hard done by, but that is the only solution there is, and there can be no compensation. What the law now clarifies, the age-old question was, what if the 7th ball, you allowed the 7th ball? This used to be, during our days, early days, quite a question which had no answer in the laws, and there was a lot of debate about it. Half the body of umpires saying that no, this is what he should do. The other half, they should say no, he should call over. Now the law has made it clear that if you count 7 and the 7th ball turns out to be a no ball or a wide, not a fair delivery, you should, and you realize that this is the 7th ball, you have miscounted it. You should not compound the error by allowing one more ball. You should call over right then, even though it was not a valid ball. Now it is clarified. During our times, this thing wasn't there. This is clarified. We have to act accordingly. Now the bowler changing end. A bowler is allowed to change ends at any time he wishes, as long as he does not bowl 2 overs consecutively from each end. He can bowl a spell of 5-10 overs from this end, and then if he does not happy with my umpiring, he could very well go to the other end and try his luck there. This is always done. But as long as he doesn't bowl 2 overs or part of an over consecutively in the same innings, he is allowed to change as many number of times as he wants. Now, finishing an over, a bowler shall always finish the over in progress unless he is incapacitated or suspended under any of the laws, or when an innings ends during the course of an over. Now, when an innings ends, we know that the over will always remain unfinished. In the statistics also, it will go as he's bowled 10.3, and also in the batsman statistics, he's faced so many balls and all that. And where he cannot be changed or suspended, he has to be incapacitated or suspended during the course of the over. Suppose it is a match where the bowler is getting a beating and he's already conceded 3 sixes. The bowling captain cannot come to you and tell you, look, I don't want this bowler to continue. He's being bashed all over the ground. Now you can allow the change of bowler only if he is incapacitated by illness or injury and he really cannot bowl, and or if he is suspended during the over. In both these cases, another bowler is required to come and finish this over. Always required to come and finish any time during the match, the last hour also, and throughout the match. Another bowler will have to come and finish that over from the same end, and provided again he has not bowled the last one or part of the last over, and he will not go on to bowl another over from the other end. This general rule will always apply. Here the umpire shall call and signal dead ball, and if a bowler is incapacitated, another bowler will complete the over with the same condition. So this is as far as the law 17, the over goes, where particular attention, most things are routine, particular attention has to be paid to this aspect of what is a valid ball, and what are the instances where despite the striker receiving the delivery, the ball will still not be counted. That finishes law 17. We will go on to discuss law 18 in our next episode. Bye for now.